is up, my ninjas? I'm STRYDENT, and today we are taking a look at the ultimate Sarah Connor figure from T2 Judgment Day by NECA. NECA has been killing it lately. And I have to let you guys know, Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is the mother of the summer blockbuster. It kind of changed, it didn't kind of, it definitely changed the way that action films were done from that point forward. Everything was bigger, tech was pushed, when it comes to special effects, the way things were relentless, that became a staple of your summer blockbusters. Just keep on upping the ante. And I love the fact that we finally get her in figure form, and she is a representation of what was right with action films back then, the 90s, versus what we get now with women in action films. They just treated her like any other character, But anyway, I'm going to go through the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between, and sit back and relax as we look at this figure, this crazy, awesome figure. Sculpt. It's NECA. So you already know. The sculpt, the paint, it's all on point. This is one of those times where things could have gone really wrong, and somehow they managed to make things go perfectly, right. I have a couple blemishes and spots, but it doesn't take away from the overall fact that it's well done. The figure is well done. Linda Hamilton looks awesome in figure form, and it just reaffirms how thorough of a character Sarah Connor was. It's about time, too, that we have her in figure form, because if you're going to do a Terminator 2 line, you gotta have her. There's kind of no point if you're not going to do that. Now, I love the fact that the whole business attitude that she has, the all business, all she's doing is she's trying to save humanity by stopping the machines by any means necessary. And she looks like that kind of character. She just looks like she is focused, and I don't know, it's amazing. And you can see every little detail that I'm talking about, it's captured in this figure. I really dig the fact that all the different types of textures, all the different types of color variations, actually, I should say the variations in color are all very simple. I mean, she's wearing black and gray, so it's not like they really went heavy on the different colors. But on her flesh tones, you see a different texture. You see musculature, because she got ripped for this role. You see there's a distinct difference between every material, every texture that you see on her body. It's just top notch, Another thing that I'm really geeked about is the representation of all three acts of the film. You have Sarah Connor from, the beginning of the film with the ponytail. You have Sarah Connor from the middle of the film with the goggles and the with the glasses and the cap. And then you have the end of the film, which is what you're looking at right here, with her hair down and her, her shoddy and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can recreate all that stuff. They did the same thing with the T-800, and I wish more companies would do this. It's kind of necessary when you do movie-based figures to do as much as you can to represent what we saw on screen. Because after all, that's the point of us getting the figure, you know what I mean? We want to recreate what we saw on screen. Hasbro. I'm behind that. And people made a big deal about this head sculpt, and I think it's fine. She was really haggard by the end of the movie. She had been through a harrowing ordeal. She's not supposed to look pretty, cute, or whatever. She's supposed to look like she'd been through some shit, This is my favorite of the bunch of head sculpts. She just looks like she means business. And if you remember how cold she was as she was about to murder Miles Dyson's whole family, she was just focused like a Terminator, straight up focused, and just, you couldn't see her eyes. It's part of probably the reason why she had on shades. That is the original reason why action heroes were wearing shades, so you can't see what their eyes are doing, behind the shades. It's just a cold glance. I like that, or a cold stare in some cases. And I like that with her. This is like I said, this is she's from the mother of the modern action film. And because of a lot of things that were done in this film, you started to see them as tropes in other films, you know, or commonalities in other films. Uh, but, you know, the point of the matter, the point of this whole area where I'm stuttering over myself and all that mess, is to say that NECA did an amazing job capturing all the little details of this character in all three acts of the film, you know? Things like how built she is, you know, look at that vein. How often do you see that on a female action figure and she's not like overly manly and overly built and to almost a comic book or cartoonish degree? You know, look at how she's muscular. She's just not huge. And I mean, that's accurate because that's what Linda Hamilton did when she prepared for this role. She wanted to look like she is a soldier. She's been preparing for war. And I mean, that's what Sarah Connor was doing. It's something that we don't get that much today. Today, they'll take a sex symbol and then put her in an action movie role and then make her dress sexy. And it's like when bullets are being, you know, thrown in your direction, propelled in your direction, looking sexy is the least of your concerns. You know what I mean? Now, if it's a fantasy thing, fine. You're good enough to do that. You know, like Sucker Punch or something. Fine, I get that because it was set up a different way. But for, you know, your serious action films, movies like Salt and shit like that, like, you can't be all super fine with your makeup all did and shit and fighting all super hard because you're going to take blows and it's going to jack up your makeup. And if you're on the run, you don't have time to look good. But like I said, they made this figure look good in a different way. She looks tactical. She looks like she can hang with the dudes. She looks like a soldier, no different from the guys. It just so happens that she is a woman. And she is the most important woman in this franchise. She's one of the most important women. If you were to be in this world, she would be the most important woman in that world because she gives birth to essentially the savior of that world, you know, or would-be savior if you count what happens in Genesis. But this right here, this is something I've imagined for a long time. Wouldn't it have been awesome if somehow we got like a Contra with two of the most badass women as the main characters, two of the most badass women in sci-fi as your main characters? That would be amazing. The reason I put them together, though, is just to show you like the difference in feminine sculpts. Ripley is a lot softer and a lot more regular woman, whereas Sarah Connor is much more superheroic, much more muscular, and she just looks tougher, you know? But it doesn't take away from the achievements of both of the characters because both characters are extremely tough and handle their business extremely well in their films. So, you know, this is just something else to look at so you guys can see her in comparison to something else. Our accessory count. It's not a huge accessory count. I want to say you have 6 accessories, 5 of which you see on the floor, the 6th being the knife, which is in the sheath on her belt. They did a good job. The extra heads obviously are kind of like the icing on the cake. You can pick one and one can be your preference. Or, excuse me, depending on your the diorama you make, depending on what part of the movie you want to focus on, you just use the head that corresponds. As I said earlier, the knife sits in her belt perfectly. If you weren't told that it could come out, it doesn't look like it could. It's that perfectly, you know, fitted for the sheath. And it just looks like it's part of the belt. You know, we've gotten that a few times in you know, recent years, and you know, you get that often with Marvel Legends where the weapons are stuck to the belts and such. The benefit here is that it's NECA, so the gun can come, or the knife can come out of the sheath. She does have problems holding it. It's kind of balancing more by the rope than actually in her hand. I just took the picture from an angle where it looks like she's holding it. They needed to make the handle a little bit thicker or make her grip a lot like a smaller hold, you know what I mean? Instead of having her hands open so much, close them up a little bit more. And then that would have been perfect because that's what they did with Arnold. Arnold has the tighter grip so he can hold that smaller blade. The assault rifle looks beautiful. Her shotgun, you know me, I'm a shotgun person when it comes to games and movies and stuff. That's my favorite weapon in, you know, those kind of situations. Her 1911, beautiful. It looks like it did in the movie. And it's funny, I don't know why I even point this stuff out because this is NECA and this is what they do. But I feel like I have to point it out and give them props for it because this is what they do. People don't understand. I hear too often that someone essentially manhandled their NECA figure and it broke. Or they got one bad figure and then they say, NECA figures are terrible. Their QC is so bad. Yeah, they have bad QC. I understand. From time to time, somebody has to get the shittiest, you know, figure in the batch. That doesn't negate how good of a job everything else is. You know what I mean? Case in point, and you'll see it in the articulation section. I had issues with mine. Anyway, what I'm showing you here though is details of her head in the beginning of the movie. This is what it represents, which I like. And I tried to light it from above because in those early scenes, that's kind of how it was. It was usually she was lit from above because of the lights, those big ass fluorescent lights above in the asylum. And she kind of just, it's the same face, you know, but it's an expression that works well given just about whatever situation. Here she is in my quick recreation of that classic scene in the beginning of T2 when they break her out of the asylum or whatever you want to call facility. And you can see it works. I mean, granted, she's wearing all the wrong clothes, but, you know, it looks right. And then, of course, you know, I have Arnold or the T-800 dressed appropriately to look, you know, the part, which essentially means you put the right head on the body. Come with me if you want to live. And then here she is with, you know, how she looked in the middle of the movie, which is accurate. I mean, I think that's an M4. I've heard other people say differently. For the review, for the sake of the review, I'm just going to call it her assault rifle. But I'm pretty sure it's a scoped M4. And it looks, she looks right. She looks really right. It's crazy because they found that balance where you could tweak one or two things and it gets across a whole lot. You know what I mean? It speaks in volumes as to what it is, you know, is that they're trying to convey. And I'm not trying to sound all super complicated and shit, but they're trying to convey to you a scene in the movie, and if you put her with the right head, it works. Just like this. Everyone will see this, and you totally know that's the end of the movie. I don't have the T-1000, either version of them yet, so I couldn't use him in this part, but you know this. This is from the end of the film when she was cocking the shotgun and popping him in the chest and all over the place, and he's falling back towards the molten metal. And then she runs out of ammunition. Like I said, harrowing situation. She's already been through the ringer. It's simple, you know? So the badassitude of this figure is just off the damn charts. They did such a good job. The accessories are perfect. The only accessory she still needs is John. And then here she is standing side by side with Ripley. I just did that for the sake of doing it, because once again, she fits in very well with other NECA figures because the same level of detail is, you know, paid attention to. So here we are with articulation. Now she has all the standard articulation that you get from your NECA figures in the past, I want to say 2-3 years, you know. Ball jointed head, the neck itself is stationary, the ball joint is at the top of the neck. She can look up and down. She can look left to right. She even has some tilt. Her arms go up pretty decent. Don't force it because they stop in a more human kind of way. They didn't do the cut all the way through the shoulder. She's got a swivel at the bicep, single bend at the elbow, swivel at the hand, and the hand is on a ball joint. So she can, you know, she gets a lot of play with that. Then the torso is kind of, I think it's a ball jointed torso. So it's ball jointed at the waist. So you can get your twist, but you can get your side to side, your back and forth. You know, it works really well. Ball joints should be standard when it comes to torsos. Because, you know, shit, when it comes to most figures, I mean, that's a lot of what makes SH Figure Art so good. It's ball jointed feet in some cases, ball jointed hands in some cases, ball jointed neck, double ball joints in the neck. You know, it's like a lot of things. The ball joint at the diaphragm, and then at the bottom of the torso. Her legs, this is where I had an issue. It's the standard universal joint for the, you know, thigh. But when I was moving her leg around, it kind of like just drooped, kind of like what SH Figure Art's doing. That's not normal. So anyway, you got the, I want to say ball jointed foot that works perfectly for, you know, making sure her feet are planted. I like that. I have no issues with that. It's good articulation. And so the bottom line. The bottom line is if you like Terminator, you like Terminator 2, even if you like Terminator Genesis, you need her to fight your Terminators. It's not enough to only have Arnold, unless you're just an Arnold fan. Then there's plenty of Arnold to go around. I mean, I've got Arnold from this, from Conan, from Predator, and Commando. You know, so if they keep it going, I'm still gonna pick those things up because the first movie I ever saw was Conan, so I've been an Arnold fan for most of my life. Design-wise, these figures are top-notch. I mean, there's not much to really want from them that they don't already give you, and that's the reason why I'm collecting them. At some point, I'm gonna get another Sarah Connor. Hopefully, it'll be soon. If not, I'll just deal with the one I have. But you know, she is a perfect addition to your collection, even if you just like badass chicks. She's perfect for your new, you know, your collection. You gotta have a badass woman in your collection to go along with the guys. You know what I mean? And she, even on that basic level, she delivers in spades. As far as a movie likeness, like I said, she's one of the 2 most badass females in all of action sci-fi cinema. She's a must-get. So anyway, I'm Strident. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. And this has been my review of the NECA Sarah Connor from the Ultimate Sarah Connor from T2 Judgment Day by NECA. Pick her up if you see her, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace outside.